much for having me. Thank you, Vancouver Pride, Kamloops Pride Society, and Kamloops Pride for the second annual Pride Parade in Kamloops. First, I would like to also thank you, the Kamloops okay, this is the hardest word in the universe. Kempik, for having us here and giving us permission to participate and to celebrate diversity on your lands. I'm mindful that when I talk about human rights, the rights of First Nations people is constantly in violation in Canada, and this is something that we cannot ignore when we talk about justice, and I will not ignore it. I will do what I can, where I can. So, we've come a long way. The LGBT community, the people who are interested in diversity, look at us here. In Kamloops this year, we had the first ever Pride flag raising in a city hall. Well done. This is a wonderful symbol of inclusion. Inclusion includes everybody and excludes no one, right? Here we are at the second annual of Millions Pride Parade, and looking at everybody here, I see all communities of British Columbia represented here, as it should be. And I look forward to seeing us represented in all communities, as it should be. BC has the most openly out elected members of the legislature. Several of them in the party that I belong to, and I'm very proud of that. That's one of the things that attracted me there. School District 73 is one of almost 60 districts with a SOGI coordinator. I think that is worth a huge round of applause to everybody who made that happen. I can say that I am extremely grateful to our province, the previous government and this government for making that happen, and I'm extremely grateful for everybody, every individual citizen who made this happen. Gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation are explicitly protected in our laws and protected by the Criminal Code of Canada. That's a huge win, an enormous win. As a sideshow, when I was coming out as trans, my family in France was celebrating, participating in the homophobic marches against gay marriage. So we have come such a long way compared to other places. And I'm very, very proud of our country and our province for being at the forefront of LGBT rights in the world. And I'm mindful that there's still 70 countries where it's against the law to be one of us. And there are 10 countries where being gay or trans or bisexual or anything else brings the death penalty. 10! And I'm mindful that this is a growing number. We need to be very careful to not let our rights slip. But in Canada, ministers and MPs call community leaders for advice. On Friday, I was at a meeting with the Federal Minister of Jobs and Employment to talk about how to make the Canada Summer Jobs Program more accessible to LGBT people by stopping discrimination that quietly happens against people like us. We are going a long way, and we have a long way to go. Even in the Conservative Party, the Federal Conservative Party this year, actually 2 days ago, they voted not to platform taking away our human rights as one of their 2019 election promises. So, yay! Now, we have a long way to go, actually. Celebrating our wins is a very, very important thing, and we should celebrate them every day, and here we are celebrating our wins. But Pride started out as a riot, and let's not forget that a drag queen was assaulted in Kelowna during Kelowna Pride for being a drag queen. Let's not forget that. That was last week. Let's not forget that the Soldiers of Odin and the Hells Angels and extremist anti-LGBT radicals worked together to protest our rights and the protection of our kids in our schools. Today, in British Columbia, it's happening regularly. Let's not forget that police and transgender people and racialized people, especially trans women of color, continue to have a well-deserved trust issue with police and health providers. Let's not forget that this is despite much effort to build trust and to mend the relationships, and that there's a way to go before we don't trigger each other. And for this reason, I thank whoever here is in the forces of order and the policing for not wearing their uniform today. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I look forward to the day that it doesn't raise my blood pressure to be next to a police officer with a gun. Trans-exclusive radical feminists and other anti-transgender hate groups still target trans people, kids and women in particular, all around our provinces and throughout our country. And we can't allow that. Trans women are women, trans men are men, trans people are who they say they are, and that is all there is to it. And our laws are clear. Our laws are clear about this, and woe to the fool who takes the law on. For this matter, they will lose, they have always lost. Conversion therapy remains legal in British Columbia today. Efforts to change our sexuality and identity through coercion or force are legal in most of Canada today. But there are things that we can do about all of this. I see hundreds of people here today, and I think that this is what I would like you to do. I took notes. I would like you to all write your MLA and tell your MLA that you demand that British Columbia enact laws prohibiting conversion therapy or any effort to change someone's sexual orientation or gender identity, period. If they received a handwritten or an email letter from every person here, they would freak out and do it. And you're helping your lawmakers by giving them those letters. You really are. I urge you to demand that public funds never go to inciting or applying hatred or bias in Canada. Write your MP, write your MLA, and ask them that Canada Revenue Agency enforce the law on charities and nonprofits. That a charity is not the place where you discriminate against someone because of who they are or what they do or what they like, when that is protected explicitly in our laws. And it's about time that our laws actually protect everyone. And finally, the last ask. I ask you to actively support the organizations that protect your rights and your place in society, all of our place. Organizations such as Interior Community Services, that does the Safe Spaces programs in Kamloops. They need your help, they need your time, and they need the money of your rich friends. Kamloops Pride, look what they've done. This is fantastic. They need volunteers, they need money. Just imagine this in a giant dedicated football stadium. Egal Canada fights at a federal level for all of our rights, for equality. They need help. They always need volunteers, lawyers. The Morgane Oger Foundation. We need help. We're tiny. We shoot way above our pay grade. We could use help too. Come to our website and sign up as a volunteer. Before I leave you, I want to put out a shout out to Kathy McLeod, your MP, who systematically voted in support of gender identity every time she had the opportunity in recent years. And I would like to give her an applause, even though she's not in my party. I don't know if she's here, but if you're here, Kathy, thank you very much. That's a great thing that you did. The last thing that I recommend to all of you, get to know your neighbors. It's really important. Exclusion and hatred is bred by ignorance, which is bred by not knowing people. Reach out to people in your communities that you don't know and ask them out for coffee or tea or grass products. Thank you very much for coming out today. I'm really feeling special being here. We got some really great students coming. Happy Pride, everybody in Kamloops!
folks, and then we're going to get this show on the road. I can't tell you how delighted I am to introduce our next speakers and the grand marshals of this year's Pride Parade. Honey, Kennedy, Sydney, Naomi, and Sarah are all students at Merritt Secondary School who earned notoriety this winter when members of Merritt City Council, including the mayor, declined to grant their request to have a rainbow crosswalk installed outside their school despite the absence of any cost to the city. Members of the secondary school's LGBT Pride Club and Aboriginal Voice youth group, the students approached the Merritt School District with the proposal in an effort to promote inclusion and acceptance in their school. Merritt City Council's rejection in a 4-3 vote only spurred the students on and eventually led to an offer to paint 2 rainbow parking lots owned by Vancouver lawyers in the city's downtown. In the end, wait for this, in the end, the students painted a crosswalk in the parking lot of the Merritt Coldwater Hotel adjacent to the school. That's number 1. One at the Nicola Valley Institute of Technology. That's number 2. And 2 at the Lower Nicola Indian Band. Amazing. Since then, these courageous young activists have been invited to Vancouver Pride, they've hung out with the Prime Minister, and today they are serving as the Grand Marshals for our 2nd annual Downtown Pride Parade. Give it up for Honey, Kennedy, Sydney, Naomi, and Sarah.
Hello, we're MSS Pride Club and Aboriginal Youth Voice. First of all, I would like to thank the Kamloops Pride Society for inviting us to come be the Grand Marshals for the Pride Parade, second annual Kamloops Pride Parade. We've had a long journey coming here. It started off a little over a year ago. 2 years ago? 2 years ago, when we first had the idea to ask the school board to put in a rainbow crosswalk at the school, and then it ended with us being here today. It's been such a long journey from the first presentation to the board, and it was terrifying. Them all looking at us like you are to us right now. And we really had no idea how they felt until the end of the presentation when everyone clapped, and it was just a really heartwarming experience. And then we thought that the City Council would have the same reaction. Unfortunately, they didn't, but that's fine. It led us to the Vancouver Pride Parade, where we got to meet the Prime Minister, and he supported us like our City Council did not. It also led us to our community coming together to support us when the City Council would not. So we appreciate them for that. I would also like to thank Cameron Dean for creating the Merritt Pride Club in 2016 when no one else had the courage to do so in a little town full of rednecks and cowboys. Yeah. I sure can. Here he is.
This is a little surreal. Last year I was here in blonde wig, victory rolls, and a rainbow sequin dress. Looked like a bit of a mess because I was up until 5 in the morning and then ready here for 10. But I can't believe that my little babies are up here. I can't believe that I'm up here. And I just want to say how proud I am of everything that Merritt Secondary School has done with Pride Club, with going to Pride, and being here, and as well as everything that Kamloops Pride has done for the city and continues to do. Thank you, guys.
Okay, in closing, I would like to say to you guys that most people will try to keep you down for who you are and tell you to not be yourselves just because you're different than everyone else. The city council tried to do that to us, but we will not let it happen, and we will not let it bring us down because we are stronger than that. We will find any way possible, including the election in October, to get our crosswalk in Merritt, British Columbia. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Honey, Kennedy, Sydney, Naomi, Sarah, and Cameron, a huge round of applause. All right, folks, I think it's time to get this started. All right, so we are going to start with our grand marshals. If you want to head down the stage, they're going to lead us on our route down Victoria Street.